Anya, but then they started calling her Liz. So then it was lasagna. And like Elizabeth Anya is beautiful, right? So they didn't think anything of it. And they're like, oh, not Liz. They're like, shit, lasagna.
Okay, we are live on YouTube, guys. If anyone's watching my YouTube channel, we are live.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna pull it through to Engagement HQ. 1 second.
This is exciting.
Oh, there's a delay. Can you hit? Okay.
What's the name of your channel?
If you click on the little icon, it says you can view it live on YouTube, and it takes you to the YouTube link.
Where?
I feel like it's gonna be some
left.
dirty name.
Oh, there.
Oh,
Click
look,
on-
YouTube.
Should we do that now? No?
Helen, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So do you think we're going to have our Zoom account paid and everything in time for the budget? Is that the paid one already?
Supposedly.
Okay, this is the paid one. We're paying for this one.
Well, not this one, right? We're using Natasha's account.
Okay, that's
Just to
Natasha's
test
account.
that, because we don't have it yet.
Okay, do you think we'll
Guys.
have it by the 22nd of May?
That's the idea. I think
Okay,
so. ICT are kind of writing a rushed business case.
okay.
So
Because we're planning to have our community partners workshop on the 22nd of May, for a Friday, and it would be perfect if we had it, but otherwise we can borrow accounts. That's okay.
okay, cool. So I think we're getting a link
we
link
need
now
to
to
go
go
to
to the Engagement HQ.
Yeah.
Can everyone go to, okay.
Video unavailable.
Yeah, no, I can't go on it. The link's not working for me.
We'll see here.
Try again.
Mine's working.
Okay.
Oh no, now it stopped. Never mind.
Oh, there is a sign-in page, right?
Yeah, it says video unavailable, but then there's a link to watch it on YouTube, and when you go to YouTube, it works.
Right, but then that's taken us out of Engagement HQ.
Yeah, it says
Yeah.
video unavailable, but then there's a link to watch it on YouTube, and when you go to YouTube, it works. It's like
Right,
a
and then it's taken us out of Engagement HQ.
Yeah, it says video unavailable, but then there's a link to watch it on YouTube.
I think everyone's trying that right now.
It's like it's taken us out of Engagement HQ. Yeah, it says video unavailable, but then there's a link to watch it on YouTube.
I think everyone's trying that right now.
Oh, yes, I'm on Auckland Have Your Say page now.
I think everyone's
Oh, yes, I'm on Auckland Have Your Say page now. What? Oh, yes,
Okay, so that's not working. So we've got the meeting on YouTube, but not on, it's not pulled through to Engagement HQ.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to go back to Zoom.
Okay. So
Helen?
what I wonder is if we're kind of doubling up the process because we're in a Zoom meeting here.
No, so Helen.
Yeah. Because we don't necessarily need to be on the Zoom meeting here, just maybe one person needs to be on that's presenting something.
Helen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't normally have to do this bit.
Yeah.
This is social media's job, but I can't get them involved at this point. We literally would only do the YouTube bit.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done it and it worked, and I could hear you all talking, and it pulled through to EHQ fine. But yeah, we would just need
It looks like it would have worked. It just looks like something in YouTube hasn't been activated to say that you can play back on other websites.
yeah.
So what I'm wondering, this is probably a slightly different problem as well, is if we're kind of doubling up the process by all being on this Zoom call and then going into, because they're two different problems. So if we're all going to be on a Zoom call, then that's like a webinar. But if we're just going to Engagement HQ and watching a live stream, we don't need to be on this call as well.
Yeah.
It only needs to be like the presenter.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's just a test though.
Yeah, totally, for the test. But I'm just thinking that's making it a bit more confusing, I think, with the feedback and everything, because we're sort of on two calls at the same time. And
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely working, but we wouldn't normally have to do the back end. We would literally get the social media team to set it up on the Auckland Council channel. They have all the settings correct, so it shows properly, and they literally give us the condensed URL, and we pull it through. That's literally all we have to do. So maybe the next step is to actually ask the social media team to do a test run with us.
okay.
Because this is, yeah, it is hard managing like 3 platforms at once, and I can hear 3 different conversations at different speed rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we all hung up from Zoom and just went to the Engagement HQ page and tried to join the meeting at the start time.
Yeah, so if you all
Would
hang
that
up from
potentially have a different,
if you hang up from Zoom, there'll be no one on the meeting. Do you see what I mean?
except for you, so maybe
Yeah.
just because you're being the presenter.
Why don't you all hang up and then go to EHQ and see what happens?
Let's try that, and you stay on and
Which link is there? A special
or
link?
Natasha, one of you, whatever. Yeah.
It's the link that you sent to us, Kirsty. The same one.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I know how this works, so I'm staying right here. Ultimately, it will come down to where they decide to simulcast from. Is it simulcasting from Zoom, or is it going to simulcast from the HQ platform? That's all we need to figure out.
I think it will, yeah, it will need to be EHQ because we've got the Q&A function inbuilt into EHQ.
Okay, so it's live streaming on YouTube, but not on EHQ. And I think that might be, as Natasha said before, it might be one of our settings in YouTube, because it says that the sharing with other platforms is disabled. Is that a setting in your YouTube account?
Yeah, I don't know how it works, because obviously I'm not a YouTube expert, so I'm trying to find it, but this is why we
Okay.
need the social media guys to help us.
Okay, cool. So let's just write down the things. I'll write down the things that we need and get in touch with them. I heard you saying, Eddie, do we need Engagement HQ? And we don't actually. For the annual budget, we've decided that we're not going to use it because there's no point using it for one part of the consultation and not using it for all of it, because it'll be disjointed with all these different platforms. So we'll just run the direct Zoom webinars and use the Q&A function within Zoom, but we still want to make sure it works for the future, because we'll be doing local board plans after, and that will all be in that platform. So that's kind of essentially what we're testing, and also just to make sure we've got a backup plan if the other one doesn't go right. But at this point, the broadcasting of the Zoom meetings will be sitting with digital, so they'll have to either use the same sort of process with YouTube and embed it into the council website, and then we just use Zoom Q&A and bypass this step. But in the interim, we're just trying to make it work.
Yeah, all good. I figured as much. We use Zoom for a lot of the stuff we do in the US, and multiple hundreds of participants, different languages and whatnot. So if we were going to do the simulcasting from the new platform, I would have been able to help you. But if digital is going to go retro and old school, then I can't help you there.
Exactly. And I think that's the question that we need to answer as well, because what we can do is either just do a webinar where everybody just joins from Zoom like you would with a normal global webinar, and there's 200 people online or something, but they're all disabled, so they can't talk. They can chat through the chat, and you're facilitating and screen sharing a presentation with the elected members. And the broadcast is slightly different again, because that's really, we're just live streaming a meeting that anybody can jump on and join and watch and still ask questions, versus a webinar that you have to register and it's not public, but you've just got an invite link.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I know you would have already considered this, but I'm thinking about the last couple of weeks or months with COVID, and this is the first engagement opportunity that the public are going to have post-COVID. So if we go retro, that's really going to turn them off even more. Whereas the stuff that you guys have been working on, if we do the new stuff, it's more conducive to participation, if you know what I mean. So, oh well, over to digital.
Look, this has been the whole argument I've been trying to have with everybody, but unfortunately I lost that battle. And so what's happening, I mean, for me, I'm seeing that this is the time to embrace technology. Everyone around the world's doing it. We've all been thrown headfirst into this new world. So, but the powers that be have got a lot more risk aversity going on. They're freaking out. They want to do the same old tried and trusted, so that's out of our hands. But
you should have called me early. You should have called me early, Helen.
I wish I had, bloody hell, because it's been really, really frustrating, and the team are quite frustrated because they've put a hell of a lot of work into testing and trying to make all this stuff work. And we know it can work, but obviously we need to have a few little runs. But yeah, we don't necessarily have to broadcast it on a live stream, but probably the safest way would be to just put up the meetings, allow up to 100 participants, let people register and join the meeting from their own devices and ask questions through the platform. And then we post, I've said to them, I think it's really important to post the recording of the meeting back online after, for transparency and to close the loop and for everyone that couldn't be there. And the reason that we wanted to use Engagement HQ for the Q&A rather than Zoom is just because it means all those questions and answers are open and up on the website for anyone else to see later. Whereas if they're in Zoom, we need to find a way to extract them. But anyway, it's kind of out of my hands now. Digital said they wanted to do it, so I'm like, great, go forth and conquer and show us what you can do. And I'm sure they can, they're smart people. So, but we'll just help them to maybe figure out what is the best approach from the engagement side. So I don't know where everyone else has gone back off to the other.
You're all trying to get in, I can see from the emails. I'm
I'm
still
in the
trying to
middle of
find the other one.
Yeah. So we're on YouTube right now. We're streaming on YouTube, but it's just getting that embed working right in Engagement HQ.
So will it be, would we still be using Zoom, or if we do the old school way, is it just a straight webinar?
So we want to be using Zoom still. And so ICT are trying to push through a quick business case to get us a Zoom license. It's all come down to a bit of a crunch, because when COVID first happened, I tried to push through a Zoom license quite quickly so that we could do these meetings online with the public. But in the beginning, ICT said, no, we need to use Skype, and kind of assured us that we could do the same things with Skype. However, now that we've got close to crunch time, they've done a rapid turnaround on that, just because of the network issues. You know, Skype hasn't been working properly, so it's too risky to do it with the public. So now at the last minute, they've gone 360 and are trying to get the Zoom license again for us.
How did CAD get their Zoom license quite quickly? They had theirs like during week 1 or week 2, because we've been on there for the cannabis referendum stuff.
So I mean, it's easy to get it. It's just, I've already spoke to Zoom at the beginning of the month and had a quote, and it was all ready to go, and Ken was ready to just give us the money and push go. So we would have had it, you know, in bloody 24 hours. But it was more an internal blockage because ICT wouldn't support it. So I asked, you know, I just said, look, I'm about to do this, just giving you guys the heads up. And they came back and went, nah, no way, not allowed to use Zoom, put the kibosh on it. So we pursued the Skype option, and then now they've all realised that's not going to work. So, but I think it's obviously taking longer because what they're doing is doing the proper business case, and because ELT at the moment, no one's allowed to spend any money, so everything has to go up to ELT to get signed off, so they've got to go through those channels. Whereas CAD, they're a bit of a special case because they're kind of inside and outside the organisation, because they're funded by the DHB.
Yes.
So I'd imagine they could just go get the money and
less
do
hoops.
what they like. Yeah. So that's always the kind of thing in Council A. It's like, if you follow the process or if you don't. If you follow the process, everything takes a lot longer. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. At least you know it's supported, and you know you've got that backup. And I think that's important for this because it's public meetings, so it means that they'll help us to make sure they run smoothly. So how are you feeling? While I've got you here, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of the public meetings and ideas, or how you think you want to run it? Or
no, I'm like I said to Ken in our catch-ups, totally over to you guys and at your mercy. However you best see me supporting all of you, I'm happy. Just make sure, and I've started to get it. It's just how to become the subject matter expert in what, if need be, in whatever. You just feed me what you need done, and you know me, I'm easy. I'm go with the flow, really, no qualms.
I mean, the way I see it is that the engagement team will sort of be running the process and making sure that the tools are all working and everyone's been accepted into the webinar and they've got their invites and sorting out any technical issues. You'll be facilitating, and then it's really the elected members and or subject matter experts will be just presenting. the audience can ask questions through the Q&A either in Zoom or EHQ, but hopefully in Zoom, because I don't think we should use all these different platforms at the moment. Be confusing. And then there'll be a separate kind of small team of maybe 2 or 3 people from finance who are the subject matter experts that can answer the questions.
Ah, great, yeah.
So they won't be
Real time.
presenting. So you need a bit of a team in the background.
You do.
Yeah, because they won't be able to present and ask, you know what I mean? It's going to be too tricky. So I think we just, as long as we be really clear with the public up front about what the expectations are. Questions come through here, we'll answer as many questions as we can. Elected members will be able to see them on their chat, so if they want to jump in and ask, answer some publicly on the chat, that's fine. And we just let everybody know that any unanswered questions will be followed up after, because we probably won't be able to get to them all.
Helen, how does it, in terms of the panel and the subject matter experts, does that look like because this will probably be level 2, so does that look like a typical committee meeting in the chamber and the rest just tune in online? What's the sort of logistics going to be?
I think that's a really good question, and I don't quite know the answer. So we've really planned for these meetings to be held for whatever level we're at, and kind of planning for the worst case scenario. And the idea of them is kind of to be in lieu of any public meetings, because even though we might be moving to level 2, I'd imagine that people won't want to come out and
no.
So I think that's something to be discussed with the elected members, whether they want to get together in the council chamber and sit 2 metres apart or whatever and do the meeting that way. But I think it doesn't really matter, because they should be able to equally just do it from home like we are now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, as you know, some elected members are more easier to handle than others. If we're there in the physical space, the body language, the rapport is a lot easier, whereas if it's through a screen, some of them are